Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all the pronouns and all the well-versed people out there. We are back again with another episode for our podcast called Casual Minds. And to discuss today's topic, we have Aditya,
Google, Anubhav.
and the topic, I don't know, why did I introduce myself or ourselves in a third person? God, I don't know. But nevertheless, all right. So the topic of our discussion is, does the economy shape our ambition? Now, we'll set up the premise for this discussion by defining economy. We are defining economy simply as a system of generating goods and services. And we place systems, say for economy of India, we are just saying that economy is a place where goods and services are generated. So when we say growing economy, we mean more goods and more services are generated, people are earning more, and people will be spending more. And of course, when we say that economy is not growing comparatively, it's just the vice versa, that the economy, that the goods and the services are not growing as fast or quickly or as much, and the wealth is not there. And that's how we will put our premise for the economy. And ambition we define as the persistent goal that everybody has in their life. And the definition of ambition will differ from person to person. Keeping that in mind, let's dive into our discussion. You know what? When I think about this topic, right? I mean, when I think about it, when you talk about this topic, this title comes to your mind. Does economy shape your ambition? Invariably, a valid point gets suggested that is indeed, our ambition is so much correlated to the economy of the place. That is, if the economy is growing, then our ambition can be different. And if our economy is not growing, then our ambition is not what it otherwise would have been. It makes, to me, it makes a lot of sense. What do you think about that, Rubel?
Yeah, I think that this point holds a lot of potential but I also kind of agree to this fact that there are multiple factors irrespective of economy as well. It mostly depends upon, I believe, the kind of surrounding or the ambience you are in, right? If you take an example of people around us, we have seen a lot of people who have seen less of risks in their life. They have been into, let's say, a very safe and well-placed family and all of those, right? So they might have lesser chance of going into, let's say, taking more risks.
That's right.
Or that sort of. But also another fact to be considered here is that ambition can be very different, as you have already mentioned, right? It is not always how you look, as if it's not just financial aspect, right?
Sure.
A person can also feel like that my ambition is to have a body like Ritik in the next 10 years, right?
Absolutely. That's a valid point. That's a valid
and why
ambition.
not?
Yeah, why not? Absolutely, I agree. Totally. What's wrong with that?
He's gonna have it in the next 2 months.
Yeah, totally, absolutely. People can. You cannot define.
Yeah,
everybody's
absolutely.
ambition would differ
Correct.
from person to person.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, ambitions has multiple aspects to it, right?
Totally. Absolutely. And
So,
with respect to that, then it depends that, if different people have different ambitions, which may or may not be correlated
Correct.
with the economy. Is that what
Absolutely.
you're saying, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And how would you have a outlook on that?
I think, as he rightly said, like ambition can mean different things to different people. So, but I guess at the end of the day, even if you forget about any kind of economy or money, right? So maybe how it all started is that we all want to create something and get validation and feel important within our peer
So is that
group
how
or
you would
community.
define ambition? For you, ambition is validation and feel important? Or are you generalizing that everybody would want to think like that?
No, I was just trying to think from it's not that unidimensional, but I think maybe that's one of the root cause why we even want
Is
to
it
work.
yours?
I'm not completely sure whether, but yeah, maybe
Because,
some part of
because
it
the
is-
point I'm saying is because, as you rightly said, right? Because then
Right.
the ambition of different people can be so different depending upon
Right,
their
right. Like you said
subsections
about
and whatnot.
for some people it might be to get a good physique like that of rhetoric, right? So that also when you do, you want people to appreciate you and
That we
you
do not know. Let's
Yeah.
let's not go into what people would want or
Yeah.
not. But let's
No, I'm
concentrate.
just-
Like, how would you then, for you, do you think that ambition and the economy is correlated? I mean, if we have to talk personally about how you look at the ambition and the economy of the place that you are in.
For me, I think that obviously, if the economy of a particular place is good, by economy, as you rightly said, we mean that there are lots of, let's say, money or capital flowing, then it makes it easier for people to choose what they want to do, right? So when that resource is constrained, then probably your choices also become a little constrained. Like so so if there is a abundance of resource, then there is more freedom to choose what you actually want to create or what you actually want your job to be like, right? So if it is a little bit constrained, then probably first it's about survival, and your survival, then you think about like how you can orient your survival to your ambition, right? So I think in that way.
Yeah, I understand your point, but of course, the way we describe the economy is not really that simple. A definition is far more complex, but that is a different topic of discussion. But
Right.
taking a thread from both of you, once that you said, rightly so, you pointed out about this ambient conditions, right?
Right.
And when you also put this idea that the resources, I mean, ambition is very dependent upon the resources. So when you say that, I would like to believe that you are pointing towards the fact that in spite of, there might be a place or there might be opportunities wherein the economy, or there might be, instances where the economy of a particular country is rising. But we or the person who are dwelling in that particular place, they may be in a certain situation or in a certain condition which are not as growing as the economy of the place where they're living.
Right.
So absolutely, I mean, I totally agree with that there is a possibility. So are we then also insinuating the fact that those who are in a less deprived or a better equipped place, their ambitions are very different, or their ambitions are how should I put it? Their ambitions are defined or designed by the conditions that they are living in completely, rather than what is happening in the other than the place where they are dwelling. Is it so then? Then are you saying that yes? So if they are living in a place which is not well equipped, and even though the country is booming, their ambition will be very restricted. Will not be that ambitious compared to someone who is living in a better off place, but the economy is not working, but still they will be highly ambitious. So are we completely then correlating economy and ambition? Because honestly, I would like to believe that economy and ambitions are not correlated, because irrespective of where we are, what we are, how we are, it is an ingrained aspect in us where we want to achieve. Now whether that achievement is for what, whether it is for wealth, it is a spiritual achievement, or different people, creative, artistic, whether it is the fame that we finally want, I would not know. But those who would want to have a certain amount of, those who have a certain amount of ambition, they have it irrespective of their surroundings. But then that is how I would like to believe, I think, but I'm not sure whether everybody would be,
I think also sometimes we might get some sense that there might be some correlation, but it might be like it can also mean that just because we are thinking that maybe there is some sort of correlation always does not means causation as well. So that aspect is also there.
When you say causation, what do you mean by correlation and causation? Like what? There might be. we are talking about with respect to individuality, right?
Yeah.
So now, since individual, if someone says that an ambition is correlated with economy, then for him it means that because it is correlated. That's how we'd like to use it, right? Because it is correlated. So if the economy grows, my ambition also grows. But if you decouple it, if you say that no, it is not, irrespective. Whether the economy goes or not goes, but whether I have an ambitious goal or not will depend upon my own whatever. I mean, I don't know, whatever the individual aspect might be. So if it is correlated, then doesn't it mean that it will have some sort of an effect?
No, that's what I was trying to say. It might have some sort of effect, but all the time correlation does not mean causation. I mean, it's not that grey and white.
Exactly. So this is what my belief is too. Okay, I'll try to make it a bit more simple with an example also. So let's say, as I've already put in a point that ambitions are not restricted to just finance or you reaching to a point of creating your own company or startup. Right? There can be multiple aspects to ambition.
Absolutely.
Right? So let's say,
which is so individualistic.
Right? So now the thing is, let's say this topic that we're having, that is economic the direct factor for your ambition or not, right? But it's not always black and white. I am in this grey place where some of my ambitions would have direct implication on the economy or whatever financial condition I am having right now, or my family is in right now, or I have been through all my life so far, right? So, and also there can be certain ambitions where the economy is not a prime factor to it. As we've already noted, there are multiple people who have achieved humongous amount of things that they have dreamt of, irrespective of the fact that they never had a good financial situation in the family. They have come from very poor background and all of those things, right? So, to fulfill your ambition, economy is a part, but not the only part.
So are we also then saying in that aspect that and then it pretty much becomes what you're talking about is the ambient condition.
Yes.
So when you say that someone is, even if there is an economically the country is doing well, but my own condition is such that I am not well versed right now, or I am not again bringing back to only financial strength, or I'm not financially capable right now, even though the other side of the coin is like rising up, but it is me, my whatever family surroundings, whatever neighborhood, it is not growing, right? So hence that's the reason probably I cannot have that much amount of ambition, right? Compared to that.
This ambient condition and the person himself.
Maybe, maybe that aspect is there, and which invariably brings me to the second point, and which is interesting as well. Say irrespective, because when you say that everybody has a different form of ambition and whatnot, right? Then it also brings to our mind that if our conditions are as important, then the way we are born and brought up, hence our culture, our religion. Do we also subconsciously, maybe, I'm not sure if it is done consciously as well, but subconsciously, do we then also appropriate our ambitious goals, whatever it is, with respect to our culture and to our religion? Do you think that is a factor as well in people's definition or defining their own goals?
So, I believe that it plays a role. But again, not stating that this is the only factor that
does it for you.
I think it does. So, like a very basic example I would take. Let's say we are like there are two persons, right? One person is from a family where they have very high cultural values. They have all been into very good sectors where their families are working, and they're not doing a business, they're doing some sort of service.
So when you say cultural values, as in, no, when I say culture, I mean with respect to your tradition.
Traditional values. Let's say they are very much into religious values and all of those. They have high beliefs, right?
So they're religious people.
Religious people, right? And there is another set of people who are comparatively more open to things. Not like, okay, we are bounded by any sort of religion.
So are you talking about one is conservative and other is comparatively less conservative?
Less conservative,
right.
So there we can say that one will be ambitious, another not, that we cannot justify it just based on their family background, but can also depend on their individualistic approach of things, because when we start to grow, right, we take things from our environment and our surroundings, right?
And culture plays an
very important
religion,
role,
I'm sure it does play.
And I think value also comes from your culture and your surrounding, right?
Right.
So I think ambition, when put together with values and all, should definitely give a very good result, or to achieve your dreams technically, right? So that is my primary belief, that culture and some part of religion also plays a bit of role for me.
Right.
And maybe if I can put all of them together and put them in the same boat and ride, I think maybe it will give help me get to my dreams. That's what I believe in.
Well, I feel you. And what's your take on that?
I think what he said is absolutely right, but I would like to add something on top of that, like culture, tradition, or religion. Like these are very interconnected. So it can both it can have an effect, like it can push an individual as well as sometimes it can limit as well. So for example, like in a country like ours, right? So even till today, when we see the traditional cultural background, so like getting a government job is a big ambition for a lot of people, right? So but although everyone knows that all of us cannot have a government job, but somehow still that prestige and respect is so deeply ingrained in our traditional culture. So to a lot of people who is growing up in that kind of a tradition and who is not probably trying to think on their own and maybe rethink or re-question, so to them also their ambition might be derived completely from their tradition and culture, like getting a government job is the only ambition or probably the ambition of the highest value, right? So but at the same time, a conservative setup or a traditional setup also gives birth to very good family structure and bonding, right? So another individual might use it in a way, okay, I have a very good personal support in my life, be it my mother, father, or partner. Now since I have got that emotional family support, I can take a little bit of risk, let me try something else. So I guess at the end of the day it depends upon
get it, but I think a bit of confusion. I mean, I won't say confusion. I think we have mixed on two aspects. With the aspect of how in India it's primarily about the government jobs, which you rightly said. I think it is more to do with the socio-economic aspect of it rather than just purely the cultural aspect, because it is, as you rightly said, at that point of time, it is more of a survival and the prestige, because and the prestige that it gets from. But when it comes to his point of about the fact that yes, the conservative family-oriented family, a conservative family, whether conservative, traditional, whatever it might be, but a family-oriented family, a person coming out of that may have a different viewpoint when it comes to ambition. His ambition can be more of a collectivist rather than an individualistic. So he can be like, I'm doing it for my family, or I'm doing it, for the benefit of the family. The ambitious goals then sets up with respect to, as you said, with respect to your family, rather than your just individualistic goal. And hence, with that respect, I think, definitely. I mean, all of us, I'm sure, even with respect to when we decide on our, certain professions to follow, we always have at the back of our mind, definitely, what is acceptable to us. Like, for example, there will be, for some, maybe, it is quite possible for some to do certain things to achieve a certain goal. Again, not being, judgmental about the choices that the people make. But some people may take certain choices which others may not take, depending upon their whatever the value system that they have or their preconceived notion and whatnot, which does not make either of the choices right or wrong. Just to clarify on that. So in that case, then, I mean, our ambition is pretty much then very much dependent and so very much interconnected with respect to how we grow up, where we grow up,
correct,
the kind of entire socio conditional aspect that we go through for our whatever. Because I'm sure the initial few years of your life, you're not really thinking about what you want to be. But of course, after a certain point of time, it does starts ingraining, and it is a constant, what do you call that? Ideas which keeps on coming to you, and which shapes you.
Right.
this helps puts me into another interesting aspect which is connected to ambition, is when we decide, or specifically, let's start with you two first, when you think of setting up an ambitious goal. So what are the ambitious goals that you have in mind, depending upon your present situation or the economy, whatnot? Do you have altruism in mind? As in, do you consider, all right, I want that goal so that I can give back to people, so that I can give back to society, let's put it that way. So do you have that aspect when you set up any sort of goal?
Correct. So when talking about ambition, right, my primary ambition, which I kind of dream of and really think of, is that I want to start a venture of my own. That
Right.
is a thing that I have been dreaming since childhood,
Right.
and obviously with him, he has been my best friend all along.
Nice.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing is that the primary thing that we always wanted to do was that we create something for people.
Mm-hmm.
That is something has always been at the back of my mind.
Right.
And this also comes from a place because I've seen my dad doing business throughout his
Right,
life,
right.
And I've seen the amount of people, like it's a very small business in a very
Right.
small place in Calcutta, right?
Right.
That impacting so
So
many
many
people
society.
in the
Families.
factory, and also they are achieving things because of the work that doing at my father's business,
Right.
So you being a child who's staying there and looking up to your dad and seeing
true.
so many people getting affected through that, right? In a
Right.
positive way, obviously.
Right.
So that gives us the motivation of, okay, if at such a small scale you can impact so many people, right?
Mhm.
Just imagine if you can take it to the next level
Right.
in like a
How much impact you can have.
impact you can have,
Help the families.
obviously,
Yeah,
and so
totally.
many people get impacted. And also, okay, not being a Gandhi or something here,
Right.
stating that okay, it serves my purpose too.
Yeah.
Right?
fair enough.
It
Yeah,
serves
yeah,
my
yeah,
purpose
yeah,
of
Yeah. But it serves them
fulfilling my
gain your
dream and
purpose.
also
Yeah.
helping a lot of people
Yeah,
through the
absolutely.
process of me achieving my dream.
Right.
So definitely it has been there, and also there are a few goals which are very personal, which are
Right.
like I want to keep my family intact, I want to
Right.
be with them, I want to have a life till my parents are there, I want to give them as much time as I can.
Right,
So
exactly.
this is also
Right.
very personal thing.
Personal. Right.
But the other ambition is also
But
includes
that is also giving.
yeah, that's
I
also
mean,
giving.
come to think
but
about
that
it, it is
restricts
also-
only to my family.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, but
But
then- yeah,
the
it is
other
also
one is
giving.
like to those people I have never seen.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I have no connection right now.
The greater good.
The greater good, yeah.
Rebel. The
So-
sage, the person who does the greater
Right.
good.
So
But yeah, totally.
this is something I have put in on the top of my list.
Mm.
Like this would be a primary thing for me till I'm there in this planet.
Right.
I want to make that change and to put that impact
Right.
and can be somewhere and be like, okay, chalo, this is what we have created and given to people. So that is
Very
something has always been there. Yeah.
Amazing. What about you?
I think I completely agree with him, and I guess that to me altruism is very important because even like for example that the profession I am into, what fascinated me is like you write something, you write few lines of code that can touch lives of so many people, right? And when you think about that, you definitely want it to be in a positive way as much as possible, right?
Right.
So that makes you feel useful, that you are contributing something in this cycle of life. So either even if you open your own venture or you make a product or you just provide a service, at the end of the day you are doing something and contributing something and making something to provide services to people, right? So that makes you feel really good that you are doing something useful, right? So yeah, I think to me also it is very important to think in that.
So the one thing that we have definitely in this discussion and come to conclusion for sure is that pretty much if all of us here, or at least two of us here, definitely considers altruism as an important aspect in their ambitious goals or in their goals, then I would like to believe that most of us out there, whenever we decide about our future, whenever we decide about reaching somewhere, starting somewhere, then at somewhere back of mind, I'm not saying that is always in the forefront,
Right.
but somewhere at the back of the mind, there is also this tiny, or maybe it's more than tiny aspect, wherein we consider giving it back to the society. If we are doing something, then we are doing it for the greater good of the society or for the
Right.
people to benefit. Of course, having said that, we also benefit from that.
Right.
There is no doubt about that, and there's nothing wrong about that. Nothing
Right.
wrong or right about that. It's,
Right.
So I mean, it's an amazing feeling, you know.
Yeah.
So at the end, I mean, I think we are almost at the end. Yep, we are almost at the end of our beautiful this podcast. So, but then if I have to summarize now, there's from this discussion, one aspect which comes up clearly, as we just rightly as I concluded, was the altruistic part, wherein people are, to an extent, very much thoughtful about others when they think about their goals. What matters is also the fact where you are situated at that point of time, your surroundings, your neighborhood, your people that you interact with, your family, friends, peers. Third aspect, again, it is very much related to your neighborhood, but it is also your cultural appropriation, your maybe to an extent religious inclination, which also guides your ambitious goals, guides your ideas about what you want to be in life, what you want to do in life, and eventually all these three. With an aspect, with all these are also probably at some point interconnected with the overall economy of that country, or if you have to go macro, then probably in the world. So yeah, I mean, so in a way, we live in a very small world where everything is all interconnected. We are not like isolated beings, probably. So if economy is connected to your conditions are connected to your culture is connected to your altruism, or vice versa, whichever way you want to interconnect and whatnot. So yeah. I mean, amazing that we had this discussion today. Thank you, guys. But anything else that you guys want to add? I'm going to end at the end of our discussion, because, yeah, we are almost there. All right. Having said that, there is an awkward silence before we carry it on. Thank you, guys, for hearing us out. Very kind of you. Thank you. Bye.